If you'd like to get this and or any other Safari Ltd product, make sure to head over to www.safariltd.com and use the promo code KikiandCoffee at checkout, or use the link provided in the description to not only save 15% off of your next order, but you will also be financially supporting myself and the channel. So without further ado, what is up guys, it is KikiZilla101 here yet again, back for another figure review from that big Safari batch that I have been pushing off for like ever. Sorry Safari's been taking me so long, but a lot of stuff has been going on with my personal life that's been keeping me from doing these videos. For those of you that are watching my channel that are kind of wondering where I am right now, I do plan on making updates on that fairly soon at some point, but for right now I just need to focus on other things. Anyways, this review, yet again, like 2 month gap between this one and the last one, so I have a couple more reviews I'm going to try to pump out because I really have been slacking on these guys. I need to get them out. It's been forever since I've got this package. This one, however, is one I'm really excited about because it's a figure that my friend Spino Dude actually really urged me to get a hold of. It was one that I was never really too excited about in the first place, but he really wanted me and advocated for me to get it because he really thought it would change my opinion by getting it in hand. I never really thought there was anything special to this model, and I'm really glad he did convince me to because I really do love this figure. The paint especially is just a real standout of this model, and we'll get a little bit more into that here in a bit. I do want to remind you that Safari Ltd themselves kindly sent out this figure and so many other ones in this big package for me to be reviewed for the hashtag HowieSafari campaign, so big shout out to them. Thank you guys so much, and I'm sorry I've been taking so long to get these reviews out. So one quick little accuracy thing I want to note off right at the beginning is the wings. The wing shape on here is just really odd. I can't really think of any birds that actually have this wing shape, and I know that Archaeopteryx is like kind of a bridge between dinosaurs and birds, but you can consider it a straight up bird. I think it's actually the first ever dinosaur that is considered a bird, which is why it's really famous in the first place. Anyways, the tips of the wings here, which we do have fossilized wings, that's a big deal for this genus in particular. They come out a lot further, just like more of a typical bird wing, a lot more pointy. Doesn't have this really rounded off stubby end that ends like right after the hand. The wing does come out a lot further. There's also a little bit more of a dip or a pinch towards the middle. So like it has a little bit more of a wide part out here, and then it comes and pinches in a little bit, then it widens back out towards the base of the wing there. So just in general, the wing shape is quite a bit off. I think it could be done a lot better. It's not the worst thing in the world. I never even really noticed it, like whenever I looked at pictures of it, which is something quite odd, even though now that I can't unsee it, the wings are completely off in terms of shape. But they definitely, they do the job, and they don't look horrible by any means. They are technically incorrect, but they're not bad. Another thing wrong with the wings is actually the color. Archaeopteryx is actually a dinosaur that we have a pretty dang good idea what the color was, and that's that it was probably pretty much all or mostly black, really with not much else to it. The iridescence is something that we definitely think could have been on there, which is why you commonly see Microraptor and Archaeopteryx with iridescence on the depictions, the artistic depictions. Jesus, I am really doing a great job with my words today. You can tell I've been out of this for a while. Anyways, with that, we actually, they were doing the feathers of the wings in particular, but also just like feathers all across the body. And as far as we know, it pretty much was entirely black. There was no white pattern like this or kind of separation between the patterns on the wings as far as we know. And I did look into this paper myself, and it also came out quite a bit earlier than this figure did. So the figure itself doesn't really have much of an excuse. But yet again, not a huge deal. There is a little bit of room for error there, and maybe it's a sex difference. Maybe males had white on them and maybe the females didn't, but still probably would have been a safer approach to go with all black rather than put the white on there, but not a bad touch. I really do like how the white looks. I think it adds a lot to the figure, and I think prefer it with the white, just visually. I think it looks a little bit better. So, yet again, not really a big complaint there. But if you're a big accuracy nut and you really want it to be 100% accurate, probably should get a Sharpie and get that white off there. The head is gorgeous. The head is probably my favorite part of the whole model. As you can see, there's the blue iridescence that comes down the tail and across the wings here. But the head actually has like a purple. It's, I don't even know, like it's like a plum purple, almost like a magenta purple. It's really odd. It's very, very metallic, as you can see here. And I actually think, if I don't say so myself, I think I did almost a perfect job lighting this guy. I know that the shadows are quite sharp because, unfortunately, my lighting situation isn't most powerful in my current situation, but it is a very natural lighting session, which is actually really what I like about this, because you're getting, I'm looking at the camera here, and I'm looking at it in person, and this is probably the most accurate camera to coloration depiction I've seen of it. I've seen a lot of reviews of this figure, and I don't think really many of them bring out exactly what it looks like in person, but I think this is doing actually a pretty good job. I think the lighting is giving you a pretty good idea of what it'll look like in person. I think the blue is coming out just a little bit more than it does in person, but other than that, it looks pretty much spot on. So this is a pretty good idea of what your figure is going to look like in person. Just in general, I love the colors. Really love the sculpting work. As you can see, the detail on the feathers is just really well done. Lots of little fibers in there, really pretty. Really enjoy the feather work on this guy. The last little issue I'll talk about is actually here at the bottom of the figure. He kind of looks like a piece of origami. The tail here, as you can see, it looks really good from the top, but you can notice it's pretty flat, and it's really flat on the bottom. It just looks like a really tiny piece of paper or something, and you turn it sideways and it's really big. Just looks really flat, which makes a little bit more sense for the tail. But when it comes to the legs, you can see there, same thing. Really tiny, really thin, and they look really wide here, but they're just like little origami cutouts. So it looks like a little origami tripod. From most angles, it looks okay. It's just whenever you look at one piece of that tripod stance from a perfectly horizontal angle, you can start to notice the issues with it. Thankfully, the legs are a little bit better when you're like, when it's a little bit better shaded and the legs can kind of blend into the body. But in a lot of other situations, you can kind of tell the legs are very flat from the front. So I actually display mine on the back of my Giganotosaurus. I'll do a collection video at some point where you guys can see that, but my Safari Giganotosaurus is actually like a ride for the Archaeopteryx, and I just prop it up like this because I really love seeing the colors, the wing display, and the head. I think it's just, that's my favorite way to display it because you can really see all of the best parts of this figure on full display. It almost looks like one of those museum plaques you'd see with like a nice bird taxidermy put up, so you can see the colors and everything. See, this figure has a couple little issues for me. I mean, technically it has objective accuracy issues with the wings in terms of color and shape. And I don't really care for the origami thing going on with the tail and the legs, but that is an issue that isn't as bad as you'd think it'd be. So overall, I really think this is quite a well done figure. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. I really do think you guys need to pick it up. If you're even slightly interested in feathered dinosaurs, or you like this iridescent type color, or we're ever considering it, don't let the pose, which I will admit it leaves a lot to be desired. The pose isn't anything special, but it's not bad. There's not really much life or action to it, but it gets the job done, and it really does display the colors off well when put at the correct angle. So in general, I think this is just a really solid buy. I think it's really overlooked, and I do have to advocate for any of you other guys who are considering it, or gals, to really just pull the trigger and get it. It's really one that I think you're missing out on if you were anything like me and were you just kind of thinking that the pose is lackluster and didn't really have much to offer, and so you just never ended up picking it up. I think this one honestly is a sleeper that you have to just finally get over and pick up in order to notice how good it is. And it is really good. It is really good. This is definitely one of the biggest impressions, one of the figures of that batch that impressed me the most. Let's reword that. Yeah, it's a really good one. So yet again, if you guys go to www.safariltd.com and use the promo code Kiki and Coffee, you can get yourself 15% off of your next purchase, which also some of the proceeds from those purchases will come back to me and the channel. So you're not only supporting me, but you're also saving money in the process, which is really great for everybody involved. So yeah, why don't you go do that and maybe put this guy inside your order. I think that'd be a pretty good idea. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.